Us people who are into this kind of music can sometimes lead a lonely existence. Because, well, people have shit music taste, honestly. They just listen to anything the radio tells them to. And it's honestly quite exhausting. If you're a normal person turned metalhead, then obviously this is something that you can relate to. Unless you're going to shows and stuff, usually our social environment has to catch up with us, not us with them. We don't care about that. But tell me, are you tired of your friends listening to basic ass music? Are you tired of your friend coming to you being like, did you hear Nick Jonas's new song? And just having to pretend like it isn't disgusting. I am going to help you make your life better. You can actually get people into metal. This is not clickbait. This is a real life hack. Tried and true by CORNEA-SAL herself. So without further ado, hi everyone, this is CORNEA-SAL and today I will teach you how to get your friends into metal. So the first step is to find someone willing. They have to be at least a little bit willing to start learning something new. If they're not willing, first of all, check out if they have any prejudice against it. It is not all screaming, okay? There are different kinds of heaviness in metal. There is new metal, which is probably the safest option. And then there's metalcore. And then there's the rest. Whew! That is all the rest of the music, okay? And we want to get them there. They will. But we have to give them some time. It's not all screaming. Second of all, no, it's not satanic. Majorly not satanic. Then people who listen to metal are not violent. Well, with its exceptions, of course, like everyone and everything, right? But that's with everything. It's actually a good channeling for your negative energy. So we really want to get this stuff in check. Make sure that you don't have any biases against it. They will still probably have them, but at least you warn them, okay? You're telling them something new. So after this, they'll be like, that's interesting. I never heard that before. I just thought this was for weirdos like you. And you'll be like, well, yeah, but it gets deeper than that. So we're going to continue. Now that they're a bit willing to hear you out, you're going to find out their music tastes, okay? So not everyone comes from the same base, okay? We all have different origins, different listens, and before listening to metal, I was listening to, I don't know, some softer stuff, okay? The thing is that if someone starts from, let's say they start from hip-hop, then your best bet is for them to start listening to some new metal, some rap metal. But if someone really likes, I don't know, Hosier or someone like that, then you have to find some, I don't know, maybe like you can start with Soundgarden or something like that. Closer, and don't start with like crazy ass death metal top 10 riffs. Guys, it's a lot to take in at first, okay? We are used to it, but people who aren't into this, they're not used to hearing all that, you know? So give that some time. What I do with the people who I want to initiate is first I ask them to make a small playlist of the things they like. So maybe they like, I don't know, maybe they like electronic music, maybe they're into Imagine Dragons, then maybe you can start them with Sleep Token. Soft male vocals, you can also start them with Loath, Two-Way Mirrors, like a really nice kind of mainstreamy song, but it gets you started with some new sounds, okay? Person will start listening to it and make them a little playlist, some soft stuff, and then tell me exactly which ones you like and don't like. Be very straightforward. Tell me exactly what you like and don't like, so I can give you better suggestions, okay? So let's say, to give some softer examples, you put some of the most popular songs of Deftones and you put some of the Metallica songs, super mainstream bands, a lot of mainstream bands, and they're like, oh, well, I don't know about Deftones, but I really liked Enter Sandman. So you're like, okay, so you start going with some other Metallica, maybe some Megadeth, and maybe you start finding their heavy taste. You start getting them into the music. So if they like Metallica and they like Megadeth, maybe you can throw in some 80s metal. Maybe what they find out they like is some 80s metal and they're into all the 80s metal that sounds very similar. Maybe they like Judas Priest. Or however, maybe they don't like the stuff and they're like, oh wait, actually I like Deftones. Start getting them into Loath, you start getting them into more shoegazy stuff. Maybe they can even like something like Death Heaven. And so they get in deeper, and actually what they end up liking is some black metal or some DSBM, you don't know. Start guiding them and start finding similar bands alongside that. Again, as the same thing, if they like hip hop or they like rap, then they may start with some Rage Against the Machine or maybe Cypress Hill with Trouble. If they like more high-pitched male voices, maybe they can listen to, again, some like 80s metal, or they can also listen to maybe Linkin Park. And then eventually, if they continue listening to that, they may find more. They will start, like usually with new stuff, we start getting bored. This happens with everything. So you start seeing like, oh, okay, what else is there? I got bored of, I don't know, Hybrid Theory has got me bored. I want to listen to some other stuff. So they start hearing new stuff, and then you can start getting them into heavier mainstream bands, and then a little bit heavier, less known, and then maybe they wind up in like Gojira. If they start off in like a rock kind of thing, you can put them onto some Mastodon, The Emperor of Sand, for example, which is the more mainstream stuff from Mastodon, and then they start getting in. It can even have to do with their interests. If they like fantasy stuff, maybe you can start getting them into some Viking metal, like for example, Amon Amarth, which has some really cool topics. Like, I don't know, they like playing D&D and their characters are Viking, get them onto some Amon Amarth. Honestly, it has to do with everything. But mostly, just try to find what aligns with that person and you will eventually get them into Napalm, Abortion, Fetus. But you have to give them some time. And I feel like people with this genre, they are afraid because, I don't know, people have their own biases, people are weird. Just make sure to get them started easy on it. I want to initiate everyone in metal because I think it's a really good way of channeling your negative emotions, and I think music is the most beautiful thing to exist. Well, anyways, guys, please tell me if this works for you. If it doesn't work for you and you want to call me a f***ing idiot, then you're free to do so. And if you're a person who would like to be initiated into metal, do the same thing for yourself. If you like rap, look for rap metal. If you like some softer stuff and some more reverby stuff, then start with Deftones, start with, I don't know, My Bloody Valentine, which is shoegaze, or like Wisp, which is shoegaze. You don't have to take it all in immediately, but it's a pretty cool thing to form part of, so don't miss out on it. And if anyone tries to shame you for being new, tell them to fuck off. This is CORNEA-SAL, and I'll see you.